Hey, what's up guys? My name is Paige Poppy and welcome back to Architalks, which is the series on my channel where we talk about architecture advice and your architecture questions as well. First of all, please don't be freaked out by my eye. I don't really know what's wrong with it, but I woke up like this. And I'll try to cover it like this too, I guess. Anyway, today what I want to talk about is some advice that I have for the first year of architecture school. And I hope that it helps you. This is in no way intended to scare you off from trying architecture school. I believe if it's something that you think you would enjoy and you think you should be good at, you should definitely try it. And maybe you won't even be good at it, but you will learn to be good at it. So these are just 5 pieces of advice that I have to try and help you be more successful and enjoy your first year better. So number 1 is prepare to work. Now, if you think you're gonna go and slack off, this is not the major for you, most definitely. And, you know, it's not gonna kill you. Now, I would say that the majority of people who go into architecture school and start doing the work really just fall in love with it. It kind of balances out the large amount of hours that you have to put in, and it kind of makes it worth it. It's not for everyone, but it does pay off in the end. You have really cool models, drawings, finished products, and you're learning, of course, at the same time, and it's definitely worth it in my opinion. But you have to be mentally ready to, you know, say no to some events sometimes. You may not be able to always grab dinner with your friends or, you know, go shopping or whatever. And in my situation, like, a lot of my friends would always have their Fridays off from school, and you know, you just can't expect that always, and you have to be ready to make some sacrifices. But in my opinion, they're definitely worth it in the end, and they'll just make you a stronger student. Which brings me to my next piece of advice. Number 2 is about all-nighters, and I want to be kind of general there because yes, you will pull all-nighters, but from my experience, there was kind of something that was off with first year and all-nighters. I don't know how it is at your school, but there was a competition to see like who could pull the most all-nighters, and there was like a tally going on the chalkboard, and then there was like rules about what counted as an all-nighter and what didn't. And honestly, I would say just don't get caught up in that. Sleep is so important for your health. It's more important than exercise, as you may or may not know. It's just good to get rest. And I think early on I kind of valued my sleep, like not because I was lazy, but just because I knew like if I didn't sleep the night before, then the next day I just like wasn't putting 100% into my day or into my work, so it wasn't really worth it to me. And later on, as I became a second and a third year, it became so important to me. And part of it is that you need to go into studio and just be really focused on what you're doing. Studio can be like so distracting. All your friends are there. It's really fun. There's food, there's like movies, and it's awesome. And there's nothing wrong with putting on a movie and watching it, but as long as you're working at the same time, that's important. And I think in first year, there's a lot of people who just kind of goof around and end up like not getting any sleep, which is terrible. And like, good for them that they're staying up and working on their projects, but if you're a little bit more strict with your time management, I think it'll be overall much more productive for you to just get some rest and get your shit done. And as I was just saying, studio culture is a big deal, which brings me to my 3rd piece of advice. And this is something that I wasn't really aware of going into architecture school. I think a lot of people did maybe like more college tours or like more research, or maybe they had known someone who had gone to architecture school before, so they knew this. Personally, like, it was a very new environment for me. I didn't know anyone who had ever been an architect or anything, and I didn't realize what the culture was like in studio, and it's really like a cool thing. So I would say at most schools, the studios are open like 24 hours a day. So you can go in there and most likely there will be people there in your class who are working. It's not usually empty. There's usually someone hanging around if there's a deadline, of course. And it's just like this really cool environment where like it starts to feel like a second home in a way, because you do spend a lot of time there, and you know, all of your stuff is there. You keep it on your desk. And you kind of like start to build these really awesome relationships with people in your class, and like it's a different kind of bond than I would say that like most students at school get, because you know, most kids like just go to class and you know, they make acquaintances through lab reports and projects or whatever, but you know, then you go to a new class the next semester and you don't see them again. Well, in architecture, the community is smaller and it's more talkative, it's more free and open, so you know you're kind of going back and forth with people, you're constantly asking people for advice on your projects, and so it's just like this awesome place that, like, when I was a first year, I didn't get how cool it could be, and I didn't see that it was like a huge asset to have like 15 awesome people around you who could critique your projects. And I think maybe for me freshman year I was kind of like narrowed in. Like I said, I wanted to focus so that I could rest, but I think maybe I was a little bit too narrow and I didn't see like how much all these people could help me and how cool this environment was. Luckily I figured it out somewhere at the end of first year and second year, so it was cool. But studio culture is definitely something to be appreciated, and it's so awesome. So like I was saying, studio culture is great, there's so many cool people, which means you're obviously going to make some awesome friends, which brings me to my fourth point. And I don't know if it's me, maybe I'm just kind of shy when I first meet people, but I remember my first year, people started having all these really close, tight-knit friendships, and I was kind of like, how is everyone so close? Like, did they know each other before school started? And this is also probably a fear that like a lot of college freshmen have. But I kind of felt overwhelmed a little bit, and I was like, oh my gosh, everyone is so tight-knit, and like I don't feel in the loop. Also, I had a lot of friends and my roommate who were not in my major and were from my dorm that I was friends with, and I would spend a lot of time with them. So maybe I wasn't like just spending only 100% of my time with architecture people and other ones were. I don't really know why, but I'm just going to say that my freshman year I was just kind of like overwhelmed with, I guess, how many people there were and like the pressure of making friends. So what I would say is just hang out in the studio, get to know as many people as possible. Some of them are going to stick as your friends. And I'm going to say that you're actually going to become friends with the majority of the people. I know it sounds like a lot of friends, but it totally like just happens somehow. You all can just relate to each other in a way that other people can't. And it's just great. So I would say just be open, be yourself. Obviously, I'm all for that. And just have fun. And finally, my fifth piece of advice is all about professors, and this is something that I wish people would have advised me more about. I would say this is really important in high school as well, but obviously you're going to make a really great relationship with your professors. In architecture school, you talk to your professors on a first-name basis. They really want to help you, they're there to help you, they want to see you grow, they want to see you learn how to do new things and try new tools. Obviously they're going to critique you, mostly in a positive way, you know, constructive criticism, but they're there to help you, and so you inevitably build really awesome relationships with them. And my piece of advice is to maintain that relationship. So even your first year teachers may not be as important because you're still young, but especially going on your second and third year, the relationships that you make with those teachers, you just don't want to let them fall apart the next semester when you say, oh, see ya, I have a new professor. Like, you don't want that to happen. Relationships with your professors become really important down the road in architecture school. You're going to want them to write references for you for studying abroad. They usually have to write like a letter for you, references for jobs, for your summer internships, and also like they might offer you a job. I know a lot of my friends have worked for professors at my school over the summer, like they stayed in town and worked for them. Finally, like just cool opportunities might arise. Like I had one professor second year, and she helped us start a like digital fabrication jewelry club and was kind of like a mentor on that, so that was awesome. And another professor of mine, runs the digital fabrication program at our school, and if you're on his side, he might be willing to help you out a little bit on a deadline or whatever. So I'm not saying like you should be this fake person and be real cheesy because you think, oh, I have a motive and I'm going to get something out of this. But like your teachers are there to help you, and if you build a relationship with them, they would appreciate if that relationship is maintained, and that would show to them that you appreciate their knowledge and that you value them, and you're not just like there to suck up and leech off their information and then like head out of town and say whatever, bye. Did that make sense? I'm not sure. Basically, if you have a good bond with someone, maintain that, treat it like a friendship, and it will be really valuable to you. I'm not saying like, oh, you're gonna gain a ton out of it, but like, how cool is that to have someone you can look up to and can be a mentor? I think that's awesome. Alright guys, so I have given you 5 pieces of my best advice today for being a freshman in architecture school. If you have gone through this process, please leave a comment down below and give some advice to someone else that may be struggling. And I hope this video helped you. Please share it with all of your architecture loving friends. Even people who are going into their first year of college may benefit from this video. Maybe. Just share it with them. If you haven't, please take a moment to subscribe. I make new videos every Friday. And if you're interested, you can also check out my style and art channel, which is also linked down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! And recently someone asked me to talk about my modeling programs, like what I use at my school, and any other modeling